If you're completely unaware of AI image generators, or you've never tried generating images through AI image generators before, then this is it. So there's many different AI image generators. DALL-E 2 is one of the most famous. Stable Diffusion is free, so it's quite popular. There's Midjourney, there's a few out there. Stable Diffusion is very interesting in that it is open source, so it is free for the public to use. And having it be open source means that a ton of people have already jumped on integrating it into different processes and workflows. Like there's a Photoshop plugin. There's all sorts of really incredible things happening very quickly as people implement and utilize this AI image generator. For this example, because it's free, I'm going to show you Stable Diffusion. This is the most simple and basic interface for it. It's being hosted on huggingface.co, which is one of the entities that is responsible for bringing it to life, as it were. And you're just presented with a box for entering your text prompt, and then a window where the image will appear. So let's enter cute calico kitten, and then you click generate image. In the case of Stable Diffusion, it shows how many people are in the queue currently. So right now I'm number 10 out of 10 people in line requesting an image from Stable Diffusion. And then it shows you a counter of seconds, how long it's taking to generate my image, including the time in line. And then it shows the time it took to generate the previous image. So you can see my space in the queue is shifting around. There's more people added to the queue, but I've moved forward one. And the last image that Stable Diffusion generated in this batch took 235 seconds. And so you can sort of see on average kind of how it's going along. There are some other options if you click in here. Talk about that later. And then, some examples of things that you can try. And usually there's some sort of bias and content acknowledgement, acknowledging that, hey, like these AI engines have been trained on images from the internet that were placed there by humans, and humans can be pretty messed up. And so there's some pretty messed up images that may have made it into the data set that these AI were trained on. And so human biases, racism, there's all sorts of nasty stuff that can emerge because these things were trained off of humanity, and humanity has those issues. So anyways, that is usually built into some sort of statement that all of these have currently. Now you can see this is moving along. I'm number 5 of 11 now. The last image took 216 seconds to generate. All right, so I've hit the front of the queue, so it is now actively working on my specific request. I don't know what happened to the text that I had in there, cute calico kitten. And there it is. So this is its response to my text prompt of cute calico kitten. Again, I don't know why that disappeared. I'm going to put it in just for the sake of this video. Put it back in. Yeah, and you can see that we have these 4 images. That often is how AI image generators work. They present you a variety of responses to your text. You can click on them to get them a little bit bigger. Currently, most AI image generators are generating fairly low res results for the public consumption. They absolutely can generate much higher res results, but currently that functionality is not publicly available. And then if I want this image, I can just right click or control click and say download image, and it will download it, and it's mine. And currently there are no restraints on usage. I can sell this image if I want. I can use it for free. Yeah, there's currently 0 restraints. And so that's something that people are trying to suss out too. Like, this image is a result of other people's images. It is not someone else's image, but the AI was trained on other people's images. So where does ownership come into play with all this, especially if there's money to be made? We do have some funky things going on with fur every now and then. The eyes are pretty creepy in this one. The face is a little awkward in this one, but we can start dialing in some more variables if we want. And I've noticed all the different AI image generators are slightly different, which is kind of fun. You get different results from different image generators, but I have noticed that Stable Diffusion tends to get a little confused the more variables you throw at it. But let's start putting this kitten into a space and perhaps mentioning lighting conditions. All right, let's stick with a cute calico kitten sitting on a dining room table. Sunlight coming in through a window, backlit. And let's go again. You can see this time there's only 2 current requests on this iteration of Stable Diffusion, like where it's being hosted here. And the last image only took 48 seconds to generate. And since the last time I used this window, I had 1 image open, that's how it returned to me, but I can close this and see all 4. All right, so you can see that we have some more specific responses. We do have the dining room table. We do have sunlight coming in through a window. And I did mention backlit. I don't know where that S came from, backlit. And so it is backlighting also. We are getting some more sort of awkward artifacts now as the images gets like a little bit more complex. Get the crazy eyes, but it is properly backlit. I like that soft depth of field. I didn't even mention anything depth of fieldy. That's nice. I can make a calendar out of all these and then sell the calendar. Let's get a little bit more specific. Let's put some flowers in the background. A vase of flowers is softly blurred in the background. Let's try this. I'm going to close this and generate image. So working on our image now. We're getting pretty detailed in our request, so we may expect a few more artifacts. Right, so you can see this is pretty interesting. It seems like for the majority of the images, it abandoned completely the calico kitten. And in this case, the vase of flowers is in the background, but it is not blurry. And then the calico cat, we're starting to lose some detail on it. And so that is just my first foray into generating this specific image, the cat with the flowers. So now what it comes down to is finessing and fine-tuning the phrasing, the order of the words, how you want the AI to encounter these. So you can see that there is a lot to the art and science of prompt engineering. If you have never used an image generator before, that is the basics. There are additional words that you could place on your prompt or in your prompt to urge the AI to generate different or higher quality results. You're not going to get more resolution out of the result, but the render might come out different. So here we are. I have 2 college students holding 35mm analog film cameras, and we get some some versions of that. For some reason, the first option came back with 0 college students, but that's okay. So then I started adding words. Here I say 2 college students holding 35mm analog film cameras, comma, photorealistic. It changes the results some. The cameras appear slightly more complicated. The face renders are not getting a whole lot better, but this one looks a little bit better as far as like clarity, cleanness. Here I added photorealistic, comma, ultra high resolution. Now again, we're not going to get a larger resolution image out of the AI, but just having the phrase ultra high resolution or 8K resolution prompts the AI to return different results. We're getting some interesting hand artifacts going on here, where this person seems to have 3 hands. This person also seems to have 3 hands. Fingers are looking pretty wild. And then here at the end, I added Unreal Engine. That's a computer CG rendering program. For some reason, that prompt, adding Unreal Engine, works interestingly when you're prompt engineering. And so we had pretty similar results with this one here. These two now seem like they're in different environments. This one looks like it's more like a studio environment. This here made like the background grayscale for some reason. And then this placed them, like the environment here is like really, really fantastic. Actually, like all these environments are really fantastic. Anyways, so you can encourage the AI through these different add-on words. Also, you may encounter that the web-based portals can only handle so much traffic at a time, of course. And so you may encounter this error message. This application is too busy. Try again soon. Just X out of that, and you can wait if you want. I usually actually just count to 3 and then click generate image again. And usually by then, the queue has emptied out enough for me to hop in.